Okay, guys, as promised, um, I'm going to go to the next step of setting up Ambari. So let me find out what is my name node address first, and I'll say uh, my name node address is 192.168.5.120. So I'll copy this and put it here and say colon 8080, and there you go. You are seeing the Ambari interface. Default password is admin, and the password also is admin. Alright, and we are here, and we can do the installation now. I'll launch the install wizard, and I'll call it Ravi HDP, right? The name can be anything. I'll click on next, and I'm given the choice of choosing either 3.1 or 3. Let me go to the bleeding edge, and I'll choose 3.1, right? That's the default version definition. I'm going to choose the public repository for this, so and I only have CentOS environment, so I can remove everything else. I can just leave Red Hat 7, which is the commercial brother of CentOS 7. Alright, so once this is done, I'm going to run next. And there are two things I need. One is host names. So I'm going to call nn1, right? So .ravi.local, dn1.ravi.local, dn2.ravi.local. Now I need the private key file, which I can get from here. I'll say vagrant shnn1 will become root here. I'll say cat.ssh id_sa, which is my private key. I have to copy this guy from here until here. I'll copy it and I'll paste it here, right? And this should look good. So hopefully everything works well, and I'll say register and confirm. So what happens here is it goes and does the agent installation on all these machines, and they become managed nodes. So the installation is complete, and the system is checking if there are any potential problems that exist on these machines. I already know what it will come up with. Um, it says it found some warnings. Do not proceed until you have fixed the warnings. It says I've got a firewall issue. Firewall is running on the host, and basically tells me that go and configure the firewall correctly to allow the required communication, which I've already set up. So I'll say I'm happy with this. I'll close because I think I've already set up the necessary ports. In fact, I've put the machines in a trusted zone, so I think I'm good. I'll click on next. It says, do you want to proceed despite the warnings? I'm fine with it because I think I've taken care of that. So there are too many components that you could install. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take away everything out. Each component as I need, I'm going to install it myself. I'll just install the yarn and MapReduce. I do not want to install anything at this point, not even Hive. I'll do that one by one as we proceed. Alright, so I've already chosen yarn and MapReduce and HDFS. These are the only things. There are some essential components that will come up. It says zookeeper is needed. I'll add it. Ambari at matrices. Um, Ambari matrix is not bad, so I'll take Ambari matrix because I need the matrix information. I'll click next. It says you're not installing Ranger. Not at this point. Proceed. Not installing Atlas. No. And I've started moving on, right? Now, uh, at this point, it is important to find out what sits where, right? Now you'll realize that secondary name node is being put on DN2, which is fine. But name node is something I wanted on NN1, so I'll keep it on NN1, right? Um, Resource manager is also supposed to be NN1, so I'm not going to touch that. Yeah. On the right side, it keeps telling you what are the services that are happening. Okay. So let me quickly look at what we are going to get here. Yarn registry DNS. Also, I want to put it on NN1. Okay, timeline service as well. I want to put it on NN1. Activity analyzer also. I want to put all the non name node and resource node manager on NN1, right? Activity explorer also on NN1, right? HST server also on NN1. Um, Timeline reader. I don't know if I can do it, but I'll do it. I'll attempt it. Matrix collector also on NN1, right? Grafana as well on NN1. Having made these changes, I'm going to click next, and all the three nodes are going to be my name nodes, data nodes. All the three are also going to be node managers. And let me keep my HDFS client on each machine. And I'll click next, right? It requires me to key in password. I'll keep the password as password. I don't want to type it too many times. I'll just copy it from here and paste it. Right, I'll click next. And now it tells me the data directories. I'm not going to fiddle with it. Data node is going to be in this location. I'm fine with it. Name node is here. Secondary name node is here. And log directories are here. Not touching anything else because I have no reason to do it at this point. And I'm going to click next. Right. Now, it is going to create certain users and groups, which is fine with me. Not fiddling with it at this point. Click next. And I see all the settings here. Certain parameters are set up here. I'll go with the defaults. If I have to change the parameters, I'll do it later, right? And deploy. So this is a very basic cluster running MapReduce services essentially, and the HDFS services. Once we do this and we have a working cluster, I'm going to go and install Hive and other stuff. Hive is pretty basic. We need to put Hive. I'm going to put Spark. I'm going to put Kafka. Um, so this will be my basic cluster, and let's wait for this guy to come up. I'll pause the recording until it finishes. Okay, guys, so we are back, and it took me about less than 10 minutes to get everything up. I'll click on next, and here is a report of what has been set up. It has set up the cluster on 3 hosts. Required master services are installed. All the necessary services are started. All the tests are passed. Looks good. So I'm going to complete it, and you will see everything nice and cute up on the system, right? Now, was the first part of the activity. We will now go and install the required services. I'm going to start with Hive, right? So, yep, we are here, and you can see stuff here pretty cool, right? All right, guys, let's start installing Hive. So, when I have to start installing a service, on the left side, I have to click on Stack and Versions, and I click on Add Service Hive. So, once I click on Add Service Hive, I'll go to Next, and it will automatically select Taze, right? And now it is saying, what do you want to do, right? So um, for Hive Metastore, I want to keep it on NN1. Hive Server also, I want to run it on NN1, right? So now you'll see there are certain requirements here. I'm going to click Next, and don't have to touch anything here. I'll click on Next, and now it's going to check out what we need to do, right? So for Taze, it has taken certain parameters which I'm not going to touch at this time. I'll click on the Hive, and it says again, I'll just go to the necessary settings that is needed, and it says new MySQL. I've got couple of choices where I have to see what I can do. So I could either have a new Microsoft MySQL. I can use existing PostgreSQL, right? So if I choose existing PostgreSQL, right, um, we have to download the JDBC, and on the Ambari server I've got to run this, right? So I'm going to do this. I'm going to download this on my Ambari server. So I'm going to copy the link here. I'll go back to my command line, and I'm on the root machine. I'll just paste it here. Basically I have to go to JDBC website, right? So I'll go to the website. Initially I thought there will be a link, but I have to go through this place, and let's get the latest driver, right? So I'll go to the downloads, and I'll get the latest Postgres JDBC driver, right? So we are using Java 8, so we should be good with this driver here. I'm going to copy the link address, and I'm going to download it here, right? I've downloaded it here, and so basically I've already downloaded the um, JDBC driver, and it's here. I'm going to put it in some safe place. I'm going to say cd var, and I'm going to create a folder called cddb, and actually there should be a folder for cdlib and pgsql, right? So I think this looks to be a good place to keep the drivers. That's a cp/root. Um, PostgreSQL driver to this place. So this is the location for my PostgreSQL driver. Next is I have to create a database. So I look at my history. I've been playing around with some PostgreSQL commands. So I'll say sudo -u postgres create user hive. Right. Um, After creating the user, I'm going to create the database. The command is create db. Hive. Create db spelling wrong. Hive. Right. Once I've done that, what I'll do is I have to give him all the rights. Right. So um, sudo su minus postgres the SQL, right? And I'm going to run the grunt command. Let me get the command for you. So I've found out I have to first change the password of the user and to go all the way to the end, and I've created this. Now I have to use the grant. So I look at the option grant all privileges to Hive on Hive. Okay, so I think it's the other way around. Privileges on Hive to Hive. Check it out. Okay, so the command is grant all privileges on database Hive to Hive. Right? Alright, so that done. Alright. So there are a couple of steps that I need to run. So I have to go to our lib. The whole path is here, so I'm just going to copy and paste here. So the JDBC driver was successfully initialized. Right? And what I'm going to do is now we are pretty much good with it. So um, user is Hive, and I'm going to test connection. It says connection failed. Password was password. Okay, let me check this. So as you see, I'm not getting the connection to work. I'm going to go to var log and search for error messages. And when I go up, I do see some funny messages here in Ambari server log. So I go to cd Ambari server and less Ambari server log. Right, so I'll go down and go up, and I see these errors. What are these errors? Connection refused. Check the hostname and port are correct, and the postmark is accepting the messages. So apparently, the hostname and port are correct. That's what we're trying to see. And let me see if I'm able to connect. Yeah, so let's see if we are running Postgres in the correct port number 5432. We're listening here. So let me troubleshoot some of the connectivity stuff here. Um, so if you'll see when I try to connect to the full command here, um, I'll exit out. I'll first become Postgres user and run the PSQL command. And just become Postgres and run the PSQL command. And we're here, and I'm trying to connect. Um, Actually, I don't need this. I'll just connect using my PSQL command with user Hive, database Hive, and hostname is nn.ravi.local. It says there is no pg underscore hba conf, right? So we need to check what's wrong. So I'm checking this file called var lib and pgsql data, and I do realize that there's some connection issues. I mean, I don't have the Hive user here, so I'm going to go into the sim file and I'm going to add a line here. I'll call it, and I'll allow it to all. Not a good idea though, but for the sake of troubleshooting, I'll do it. I will restart my Hive. Sorry, my Postgres skill service, and then let's see whether this thing works again. And all right, yep, I'm able to get into it. So looks good. Um, Let me test my connection again here. Um, Connection looks okay. So I guess I'm good to proceed. I'll click on next. Um, and I'm going to deploy and let's see whether it does the necessary job. Installing Hive clients on all the machines because I will need Hive clients. Let's see how it goes. I did have to do some troubleshooting there, but I think those troubleshootings are still pretty basic. You need to know Postgres SQL. I'm more familiar with MySQL, but I wanted to use the Postgres SQL that came pre-installed with Ambari and wanted to do it. A point to make here is that it's not very recommended to have a non-high available RDBMS to host Ambari database and and the Hive database. Hive holds all its table schemas, everything inside a meta store. In which, in our case, we are going to use the Hive database, a database called Hive inside PostgreSQL. But again, this is not highly available and not a good idea. Should this meta store go down, all the schema will die, and you will not be able to use your Hive properly. Right, so let's wait for this to complete. All right, so guys, as you can notice, um, all the services are up. I'll click next and complete, and I'll go back to my dashboard. Right, so I've got some services which are stopped, not bothering at this time, but there are certain components that need to be restarted. So I'm going to click on restart of the components that need restart, um, restarting them. There's some stale configurations, especially um, after the configurations have changed. So just going to wait here. So waiting for this. Let me restart all the stale components. I'll pause you guys until such time. Okay, so as you see, all services have restarted, and I have Hive running here quite happily, right? Hive and Taze, everything is running here, and we are good. All right, so let's go to the next step, and let's install Kafka and and Spark, right? So I'm going to install Kafka, and let's get Spark in, right? So again, it wants to find out. NN1 is going to be the Kafka broker, and I'll again hold NN1 responsible for Spark history, right? So I'll click next, and a couple of configurations to look for. Yeah, so I'll click all. For now, I'm not going to change anything, right? So click on next. Um, I have an error here. HBase master heap size is default less than default of 1024. I'll proceed anyways. I'll make those changes later on, and I'll deploy the services. Alright, again I'll pause the video until the installation completes. Okay, so all the services are installed with some warnings which we will see what they are. I'll click next, and again we will end up doing some stale configuration restart, which I do not see anything. Alright, okay, I do couple. I'm going to again pause the video and restart the stale services, here, around here. So I'm going to restart those services. I will stop the video until we finish. Alright guys, so I'm back here, and we see that we have everything in place. We started with the installation of essentially only three components, which was yarn, HDFS, and MapReduce. Then as a next step, we went ahead and installed Hive and Taze, After doing that, we went ahead and installed Kafka and Spark 2. So I think for all good purposes, our setup is complete, and we will now continue with the necessary exercises. So I'm going to save this as the part 2 of the Hortonworks installation, and I'll send you part 3 later on, to where I will deal with some of the Hive commands and Kafka commands and Spark commands. Alright guys, thank you. See you again in a while.